Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, comedian, magician, Danny Whitson. But it's all tricks aside, because tonight we're turning the paranormal into the normal. Join me as we explore the gray areas of reality. We're going to talk all things paranormal, UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, and aliens, and see how it's all connected. This podcast is brought to you by the Experiencer Support Association, and we are live. So if you're an experiencer yourself, or you're just plain nosy, be sure to send me your question and subscribe to the podcast. Now, get ready, because it's going to get deep. No, really, we're going to go way out there, because this is Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. What's happening, my paranormal junkies? Welcome to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, and I'm your host, comedian, magician, Danny Whitson. I tell you what, I hope you guys have had a fantastic week. I hope it's been a spooky week, but a cool week, but a cool spooky week, okay? Whatever that means. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. But anyways, we got some really cool things going on over on Ryan Stacy, UFO Paranormal Investigator on Facebook. He's got 3 new articles. Get over and check them out. One of them he feels really, really good about, but I'll let you decide which one that is. Go check it out at Ryan Stacy, UFO Paranormal Investigator on Facebook. And if you don't follow the Facebook page, follow the Facebook page. Yes, go hit like. Take your finger and just apply a little bit of pressure, just like that, and hit like, and then follow the page. A lot of cool stuff. Ryan puts a lot of cool things on there, so be sure to follow us on Facebook. Also, our very own Dawn Peterson has a really cool article on the website at experiencersupport.org. Go check her article out. She posts a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of mysticism and stuff like that. I think it's interesting, so definitely go there and check it out. And if you notice right here, there's a little ticker that says patreon.com/heedtheworld. Yes, it's our Patreon page. If you want to go support TESA and everything that Ryan's doing with the investigations and this podcast, go to patreon.com/heedtheworld for anywhere from like $4 to $12 a month. Different type of packages give you access to different things. A lot of cool stories, a lot of cool articles, some really cool investigations. Another thing, experiencers, if you are someone out there who has had a paranormal experience, a UFO experience, anything, and you would like to reach out to Ryan, go to the experiencersupport.org and hit him up and he will get back with you. He will listen to you. It's a safe place. Share your story. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, come on the podcast. I would love to hear your story. I love stories. I love talking to folk. Now, that being said, unfortunately, tonight's guest was unable to make it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to be taking questions. Ask me questions. I'm going to share some of my paranormal experiences tonight, but not just me. We're also going to have a very special guest on tonight, a very special guest, our very own, beyond the tinfoil hats, tech maestro, Mr. Chris. Let's welcome him on. Yes.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How you doing?
We do have the guest. She's running a little late.
Oh, okay.
I did send her the link again because she's actually waiting on Facebook, not or on YouTube, not here. So we're just waiting for her.
Oh, okay. So the guest will be here.
The guest should be here. Yes.
Should be here. So we're going to say would be, should be. Okay, okay.
Should be here.
Should be here. Well, then, okay, folks, don't run away. You're like, no, not Chris and Danny. No. Well, we do have a very interesting guest. If they get here, we're going to wait and we'll talk about her. But first, we're going to wait till she gets here. But before we get in here, wait a minute. You want to see a really cool magic trick?
Always.
You guys want to see a cool magic trick? The comments are like, sure, whatever. Sure. Watch this. Look. Watch. Something right there in my nose, right here, right? It's a coin. Okay. Don't do your expecting, but a magic booger. I don't know, but we're going to go with a coin. But here's the cool thing about these coins. Watch closely, because if you look really close, they get really big. There we go. It's just kidding. It's really just rubber, Chris. It's just... Okay, shh, don't tell anybody. All right. Up next, Chris is going to juggle for us, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right.
There we go. Chris is a juggler. Anyways, well, we can still talk about some of your stories. Now,
yeah, we can definitely do that.
You shared something freaking interesting with me. Behind the scenes, me and Chris was chatting. And, I said, Chris, I see you. Thank you, Live Light. Hey, Chris, let's give a round of applause for our very own Live Light. She shows up every week. Come on, Chris.
Yeah, she does.
There we go. Yes. She shows up every night with some awesome questions. And here's something else I want to really encourage this tonight for you viewers on here right now. Send us your questions. We want you, don't be shy. Throw them out there. Anything you have, we will get it on the screen and we will ask tonight's guest these questions. If you got questions for me, even right now, if you got questions for Chris, throw them up here. We will gladly read them. We strongly encourage you to share your question.
Of course.
But here, let's do this real quick because we don't know if we'll ever get this opportunity again to get Mr. Chris on here.
Probably not.
Chris, what is your paranormal? Why are you here? Tell us what brings you here.
Well, I do have native background, so I see. And my mother's a mortician.
Oh, so, that's really interesting.
She doesn't like.
So you really did see dead people.
Yes. So I see people that's passed on. I've seen, my family. I see my native ancestors.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. I can go somewhere that's, a burial ground and I'm hurting. Like I feel the pain. I feel it's
so
like
you feel like the emotional connection.
Oh yeah. I can get stabbing pains, stuff like that. So like if someone's been murdered, I can walk in there and pretty much hurt myself.
Wow. Now, so, okay, let me back up. Okay, something I did not know, folks. I never knew this about Chris. I didn't know that your mother was a mortician. So,
well, she's not a mortician.
Okay.
She's a funeral help.
Okay.
They call it a support staff. She does everything but the embalming.
Okay.
So she goes and picks up bodies. She goes and does.
You put the makeup on them?
Yep, puts some makeup on them, dresses them, put them in the casket. She does everything.
Now,
Um,
has that always been? I mean, have you like grown up around this?
yeah, she's 20 some odd years.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Um, her, I don't know if she wants me to say this on air, but I'm going to do it anyways. Her first patient,
Is that what they call them as patients?
that's what I'm calling it right now,
Okay.
was her father.
Oh, wow.
First day on the
Heavy.
job. First day on the job.
Heavy, dude. Are you
First,
serious?
yes.
How did she
Uh,
do that?
it was her
Wow.
calling. That's what she
Wow.
says. It was her calling.
Wow.
6
Man.
weeks later, her mother.
Wow, dude. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that is crazy. Wow.
Right.
So your mom, she had to help prepare her parents.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Like first day on the job, she called her boss and said, "I'm going to be late. This is
Oh,
what happened." Yeah.
man. Now, you grew up, like I said, so this was kind of the norm for you then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you, like you say that you experience and like spirits, or you can those type of presence? Did that happen there at the funeral home, or?
No. My first experience, I was at school. I was, and I could tell you, I could, because I live the day still. I went to school and I didn't know I call him my brother. He wasn't my brother, but we weren't related at all. His name was Chris too. Um, but I saw him die.
Oh man.
So I went to the washroom, and because I had to go to the washroom. So I left, went to the washroom, came back, and my mother was coming through the school doors. I'm like, "Chris died, didn't he?" She goes, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I'm like, "I just know." So I went back to my teacher, says, "I'm out of here. Like it or not, I don't care. Suspend me. I'm leaving." And the teacher's like, "Oh, you can't go in the middle of class." And then he gets a phone call from the office saying, "Let Chris go. Family member just died." And he's like, "How'd you know that?" And, because even he was flabbergasted. And the next day he asked me, I'm like, "I saw him wave goodbye. Clear
So
as day. Clear as day, I saw my friend, Chris, best friend, wave to me goodbye."
what happened? What how did he die?
His esophagus ruptured.
Wow. I mean, did he have any, it just ruptured? I mean,
Just ruptured. We don't know.
oh my God. How old was he? Was he
He was in his 30s.
and so he wasn't with you, right? Or were you
No,
guys,
no, no. He wasn't with me at all. I was at school.
you were at school and he was somewhere else, and then you just knew when it happened.
He waved at me goodbye.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in thin air. I looked up. He waved at me goodbye. I was in class.
Oh man, dude, that's crazy. That is nuts. So,
Very.
and now in this had any other thing like this experience? Have you experienced any more, like this, any more experiences like this since then?
Since then, yes, I have. It's um, just like people. Um,
I mean, is it people that that you've had these experiences with, or do you ever like get some random stranger like, who the hell is that?
I get randoms. I get randoms. Mostly now it's because my native roots. It's more like that.
So you think there's a the correlation is there with your native roots? Here, put Liv's question up here. She's got a good question. Uh, has your gift increased with age?
Yes,
Okay, all right. So
yes.
the
That
older you get,
that that I will say yes. I didn't get into my native roots until about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And ever since then, it's gotten big. It's gotten big. And like I could be, well, here's a story. My my nephew's going to hate me for this one, but we used to have a place. I won't tell you the place. That we go to do our security, and I could tell you, I could be sitting here on the phone with him, just on the phone, and I could tell him where he is on that site just by the people I see.
So you see like a vision, almost like a remote viewing type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know I could do that until about a year ago.
Now, did you do any of the, like we've had guests on before who actually said you can take this course and learn how to remote view. Apparently you can learn how to do it. So this isn't anything that you learned how to do. It was something that you just started happening.
Right. And then we went on a ghost tour, same place. Went on a ghost tour, and the person on the ghost tour kindly asked me to stop talking because I was taking over. I was telling stuff that he didn't even know.
Oh. And now let me ask you, is it like pop in your head, or do you
feel it.
Do you feel it? Do you almost like picture it, or
I feel it. I picture it. I've this place that I was another place that we've been at, I've given a person a ride. I was in my car, and my nephew thought, hey, I'm going to screw with him. And he's like, well, there's someone in your back seat. I said, no, he's not. He's in my front seat. I'm taking him from here to here. This is what he looks like. And so I talked to the ghost hunter guy, like the ghost tour guy, and personally, and I said, have you seen this guy around? He goes, oh yeah, he lives up here. Exactly where I dropped him off. So it was reassuring to me that I actually saw something. Hey Lisa, how's it going?
Hey Lisa, what's happening? Got any questions? Any questions for me and Chris?
Yeah, because it's only us tonight.
Well, so you did say the guest is coming though, right?
Guest should be coming. Linda, I clicked.
Any updates on Miss Linda?
But it's not accepting. Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, what's going on? What's the problem?
It's not accepting her password on Google. So I don't know what's happening with her then. So I might be just us.
It's not accepting her password
on Google.
It's that same thing with the tell her she could try using if she uses the browser link like what I had to do one time. I had that. Remember the time I had an issue?
Yes. Can you still see me or no?
You're froze. I thought you were like, being a mime.
Okay, so you can see me.
No, you're just froze.
No, but you can hear me.
I can hear you. Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I hope it's you I'm talking to.
Yes. I actually have to go because my computer just froze. So I will be right back.
He'll be right back. Still froze. And our guest can't get in tonight. Doesn't know the password, but having issues. We can still hear you, Chris. But you're still there.
I am froze, but I have to restart.
All right,
I'll be
Chris
back in a
is going to restart. All right, you do your thing, tech baby. There we go. And I see we've got Liv in the chat. We got Lisa in the chat. Hope you guys are doing all right tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry, we've had some tech difficulties and we have had some guest difficulties. Our guest, Linda, I think it's Meris is how you say her last name, pronounce her last name. I do apologize if I messed that up, Linda. But she was the one who was supposed to be here tonight, but she's having some issues with logging in. which is unfortunate because, oh man, I really wanted to talk to this guest. So if we, like I said, we don't make it happen tonight, we will make it happen again in the future, guys. I promise. Because she seems like she's a medium, and she has made contact with a controversial stand-up comedian, and I definitely want to know who she's talking about. So, like I said, if we don't get her on here tonight, we will get her back on here in the future, and you know, get a chance to ask her some interesting internesting. That's what happens when you're live, folks. You mess up words. Internesting. Interesting questions. So, but yeah, if you guys got any questions from me, I'm your host. I know you guys have been, tuning in each week here and probably wondering who the hell is Danny Whitson. Like I said, I am a stand-up comedian slash magician who believes in the paranormal, who's had his very own experiences. What do we got here, Liv? Danny, what paranormal area do you currently find the most interesting? Okay. Once again, Liv, keeping our questions alive. You know what, Liv? I'm a big believer in the spirit realm, the spiritual area, because I've had the most intense experiences with that area. I was the UFOs, and I didn't become a believer probably until the past 2 years. I think the reason why I kind of did not want to believe is it was because something that I was probably didn't understand. So, but now I'm kind of I'm kind of in this area to where I think it's all connected somehow, and I don't know how. I don't know how it's all connected, but I think there's on a consciousness type spiritual world, it's all connected somehow. So, but I right now definitely UFOs, just because it's in our face so much right now.
Yes, it is.
And that's what really, if you look at my YouTube algorithm, I mean, it's it's all UFO stuff, that pops up that I'm checking out. And but we've always, and then on the paranormal, the ghosts and stuff like that, we've always been fans of that too. And there's actually a YouTube channel that I like to watch, and it's called Slapped Ham. Which, first of all, that's like the greatest name ever, Slapped Ham. But basically, what he does though, he gets all the people send him videos of paranormal footage, UFOs. A lot of it's a lot of ghost stuff, but and he lets you make your own opinion. And I'll be honest with you, probably about 60% of it, I'm like, yeah, that's garbage. That's somebody just looking to try to get views. But every now and then you find some real serious, some interesting stuff there. Is that you, Chris?
I'm still here.
Who's Darth Vader in it over there? I hear somebody huffing and puffing in the mic pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's me. I apologize.
I am your father. There we go. But anyway, sorry guys.
Yeah,
I'll tell my story.
No, it was a good story.
But no. So, anyways, I'm a big fan. But right now, probably UFOs, just because there's just so much so fast it's happening. What about you, Chris? I mean, I know, like you said, you're more with the spirits and stuff. But,
no, I'm getting into the UFOs and the paranormal stuff. Especially through TESA. When I first started TESA, I was skeptic. I was. And now that I'm, listening to all the guests that we have, and to you, to Ryan, I'm now starting to believe.
Well, and I think Ryan seems to believe this, and I believe this too. And it's just like with anything, it's anything. The more you pay attention to something, the more you experience. You will see it. And
the more you hear about it, the more you see it. Yeah.
I had my first UFO experience a few months back, which I've mentioned on the show before. Is I was just driving down the road here in my town, and I was at a red light and I just looked up and I saw this tic tac shape just flying in the sky. And it was, too high up to be a drone, and it was too low to be a, like a plane. And but the thing that was very uncanny about it was just how nonchalantly it was flying. Like, I don't care who sees me. Hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? And I was just like, damn, does nobody else see this? What the hell is that? And I remember trying to get my phone and to take a picture, and I only got like a blurry shot of my dashboard. But I do remember I messaged Ryan. I was like, dude, I saw a UFO, and the first one I ever seen. But would I have saw that if I wasn't, kind of interested in this world now, this community, and paying attention to stuff like that? What does Lisa have? Yeah, Lisa says she heard you're breathing too, by the way, Chris. So that
I'm
means
sorry.
that means all of Canada and America in the States too. The Lisa, I have been experienced some paranormal things. It's crazy. Lisa, what's going on? What's happening? She's had some is it recently? Have you had some experiences here recently? And if you want to type it out, put it up here. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
Gladly. The I mean, I also I believe this too, and I would hear people say this, and I would kind of chuckle and laugh back in the day. But this is true. This is real. I really, really believe some people are more sensitive to the paranormal than others. So I've had so many things happen to me, and I hate to even say that I'm kind of sensitive to it myself. Now I don't see things or get any visions or anything like that. No, but it just seems like if a ghost wants to pop up and screw with me, a ghost likes to screw with me. You know what I mean? So there's just been this is a weird one. You want to hear a weird one?
I'm listening.
All right, okay, all right. This is a weird one, and it makes no sense at all, but it just happened. I don't know why the hell it happened, but it happened, and it's dumb too. So you guys watching, don't sit here and brace for something really spooky and crazy. No, this is freaking stupid, but it happened. I was home alone, and I was in my living room, and I took my shoes off, and I had my shoes. And sometimes you kick your shoes off, kind of kick them off lazy. You don't care how they land. You just get these bad boys off my dogs. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there, and one of my shoes isn't setting right. It's sitting on the side on the floor, and I'm just sitting there, and I just happen to look over at my shoe, and then for some reason it goes from its side, boop, to sits upright by itself. And the first thing I was like, "What the hell?" So I went down there, and I looked at my shoe, and I'm making sure there wasn't a frog in it or something. What the hell? Why did this do this? And nothing. But I mean, and it wasn't like there wasn't an earthquake, there wasn't anything, not a gust of wind. It was just me in the room by itself, and my shoe just. It's like something was picking up my mess, And I just thought, wow, that is such a weird thing. And no one's going to believe me, but I don't care. But I know what I saw. That just happened. So it's a lot of little nonchalant little stuff like that happens. It really does, So the most experiences I have are with ghost spirits and stuff, And I don't know. I mean, like I said, is it a ghost? Is it a spirit? I don't know. Or is it somebody from another dimension? I don't know. Let's get Liz's question up here. She's got another question for us. Let's get it up here. What are your thoughts on disclosure? Do you think aliens amongst us may actually be the norm of our near future? I do. It's so, as crazy it is to believe, that, they may be walking around us. Like, you guys have heard the, what is the one paradox that they always talk about? The Fermi's paradox. Okay. And that's where people, and this is the one thing that bugs me too when people say this. And I'm going to come back to your question right here, Liv. It's gonna connect. Okay. The Fermi paradox is where, like, well, if there was life out there, we've existed so long, the universe is so huge and big that it either would have, reached out to us by now if it existed. So that means it probably doesn't exist, I believe, if I'm not jacking it up. And or there's a possibility that, the universe is so old and so huge, is that there was life out there, but it's done died. There's been civilizations that's died millions of times over, you know. But basically, it's like the universe is so big and so old. If there was actually another life form out there that existed, it would have contacted us by now. We would have been part of each other's lives. Now, a lot of people like to run with that to kind of support their facts that, aliens aren't real, UFOs aren't real, stuff like that. It doesn't prove anything to me. Actually, what it says to me is, okay, so they probably are here then. You get what I'm saying? It's just the complete opposite. So the universe is so big, the universe is so old that they could be here right amongst us and we wouldn't even know it. You know, the same way, like whenever you look at people who, I always find it kind of creepy, but like in the panda zoos, someone dresses up like a panda and gets in the panda cage to, to help nurse the baby or something, I mean, so, who knows if that's what's going on, just but the opposite. Uh, but I don't know how disclosure. I think I think what's going on right now in the States is it seems like they're gradually, slowly opening the door, but they don't want to go too fast. And I think it's for several types of reasons. One of the best ways is to give you a little bit of the truth and then throw in some discredited bullshit to kind of throw you off again, to keep you guessing, so you don't know really what's going on. The implication, people say, well, could we handle it? Well, I think a lot of us here in North America could handle it. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure how the entire world would react to disclosure. And because, I mean, we've got countries right now that bomb each other over their books.
Yeah.
So imagine how they would react if, and I'm not just putting it on other people in other countries either. Right here in my country, I think the main reason why your biggest enemy against, the truth actually coming out is money. In America, in the United States, it's all about money. So, until somebody can figure out a way to make a lot of money off of something, I don't think it'll be completely out the door. Let's see. Lisa's got something interesting here. Says, I had encounters with a 8 to 9 foot gray wearing a black hooded cloak shadow people. MIB black helicopters. People say they are, what is it? My lab military abductions. I've heard those stories. By the way, I've heard those stories.
I haven't.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, this is the thing that blows my mind about this. Okay, is you talk to people, you talk to all these people, and a lot of them have they describe the same thing. So they talk about the little grays, or they talk about the 8 to foot, not the tall grays, or these, and the MIB type black helicopters. You hear these things. And I mean, it's just so coincidental. I mean, that's all. It's like for it to not to be something to this, there has to be something to this, I mean, that's interesting to me, Lisa. Very Lisa. And I've heard the stories about the military abductions. I don't know, I don't know any facts or any, I haven't seen any evidence, but I have heard the stories about some of these MIB type military, people going to places here around, if there was a natural disaster somewhere, that's where they go. And the reason why is because a death rate, is really high. And apparently, the rumor is they're taking dead bodies, and abducting them for, I don't know, for the 8 to 9 foot tall grays. I don't know what's going on, but I've heard that story before. I've heard those stories, which is interesting. Definitely interesting. But let's see. We got I don't know. We got Phil Jones. Phil Jones, welcome. Welcome to the chat, Phil. Peace and blessings from the UK. Yes.
That's nice.
The UK's got a great UFO story.
New viewer, I think.
New viewer. Welcome to Beyond the
Yes.
Tinfoil Hat.
Welcome.
Welcome. Questions, man. Send your questions, Phil. If you got any good questions, hey, there's no stupid question here. No crazy questions either. This is Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. All right. So nothing crazy, nothing too crazy for us.
And we go
If you
beyond.
got any questions, send them, man. We would love to hear them. Absolutely. But yeah, the UK's got they've got their own kind of like Roswell story, which is very interesting too. And I don't know all the details on it, but it's a very famous story, involved the military. And I think, some guys got so close to the ship that was there in the woods that they could, get the readings and stuff off the side of the ship. If you get a chance, you need to look that up, Chris. It's really good.
Yeah, you should tell them the movie that you're in.
Oh,
the one that you sent me.
Well, luckily, guys, I'm in two movies right now. One of them, but let's talk about the latest one. It's called Vinny's Fantastic Rock and Roll Adventure. Okay. And I have a couple of parts that I get to play. One part, I play an alien. Me and my wife play aliens, gray aliens, and it's a comedy, by the way. This is a rock and roll comedy. And we actually abduct Vinny. And here's the thing. Bigfoot is this crazy conspiracy theorist. Bigfoot is, and Vinny winds up pissing Bigfoot off. So he gets his buddies, the gray aliens. We abduct Vinny, and there's a comedy scene of me, having fun with Vinny. So there's that. And then I play myself, an annoying magician. So, but yeah, if you get a chance, it's streaming right now on Amazon Prime. You can even see it on Tubi if you want to, which Tubi's got some good stuff on it. You can't knock Tubi. But Amazon Prime, Tubi, it's streaming in a bunch of places. It's called Vinny's Fantastic Rock and Roll Adventure. You can see yours truly, Danny Whitson, in that movie. It's a good movie. Phil Jones talks about the it's here. You say this, Chris, because I don't want to jack this up. Rattlesham Forest. The Rattlesham Forest, absolutely. That's the big story there in the UK, dude. That's a crazy one, man. That's a crazy one. That's kind of like, I mean, here we go. Lisa has she's got 2 spy cameras to put
coming. Yeah.
There we go. That's something too. What do you think about that, Chris? Like, because now we live in a day and age to where we have cameras everywhere. Everywhere.
I have cameras everywhere. Well, I don't, but I know somebody that does. And you can get some cool stuff on there. Like I got a dash camera in my car. It's helped me a bunch of times. People running red lights, stuff like that. But I have caught stuff because I've had it run overnight. And I've caught stuff that you don't know what it is.
See, that's and with we have the ability now to constantly watch. So exactly. There's no telling what we're going to see. Phil Jones says, I have just finished the new Apple TV series, Constellation, really good about space and alternative reality. I love watching those too, man. I love watching those. What was the last one that was the series that they just did? I think it was a TMZ backed thing, which is interesting that TMZ has gotten involved with the UFO thing. But my good friend Kelly Chase was in that series, and she's fantastic. Yeah, she was in that series, and it was interesting because it kind of covered the whole disclosure thing that's going on right now in the United States with Congress. Who knows what to believe? Who knows, who's telling what or what's going on? But either way, it's definitely piqued my interest. But I don't know if I've seen Constellation, but I do. I think I'll check that out on Apple TV. I'll be sure to check it out. Live Light says, I really like the sci-fi Netflix series Three Body. Yes, I just started Three Body Problem. Okay. I'm in. Okay. Sorry, I get excited about
That's fine. I don't have Netflix, so this one's yours.
yeah. Well, no, I just started it, and I think I've watched I'm 2 episodes in. Okay. Um, she said thought provoking and very interesting, highly recommended. To me, it starts out. It's got all the cool things. It's basically it's got your physics and the particle accelerator thing, but basically what I'm catching on is like it's kind of like what we talk about here. And I mean, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, Liv. I'm only 2 episodes in, but it seems like the universe is conscious. It's trying to communicate with us somehow, and I hope that's where it's going. So, but yeah, I'm currently watching that too on Netflix, the Three Body Problem. So, yeah, I'm hooked. I love it. There's so much. That's the other thing is like this is an interest, and I think these experiences people have are real. It's personal, but on the same time, it's kind of fun. You know what I mean? It's fun to. I love vegging out and watching some of these things on YouTube and some of these channels. Yes, Liv, it's TMZ presents UFO Revolution series. That was and now I'll be honest, I've talked to some of my friends about that, and a red flag that went up for them was whenever they saw TMZ is behind this. But I think TMZ is also sometimes, somebody has associated them with paparazzi garbage, but also they also sometimes want to report the stuff that the other people don't want to report. So I thought it was kind of cool that they're back in this. You know, Phil Jones is familiar with the original Chinese series Three Body Problem is on here on YouTube channel called 10 Cent, and it's really good too. And Phil, I don't know if you've seen the new one at all, but it's got the Chinese background, and the Chinese actors. Yeah, maybe check out both to see what it is. But so far, I'm hooked. I had never heard of it before, and I thought, wow, this is really cool stuff. Definitely, man. Thanks for the info, Phil. Lisa, let's hear. One night, Lisa. One night I had an experience and I woke up and MIB was in my room. I was laying down. He grabbed me by my right arm really hard. That's all I remember when I woke up, and I had a bruise on my arm where he grabbed.
Oh,
wow. That's definitely creepy. That's
mm-hmm.
definitely creepy. Not sure how I would react to that one. How would you react, Chris, waking up with any bruises or physical places where something has grabbed you?
Yeah, I'd be freaked. I would definitely be freaked out. I haven't had anything happen in my sleep at all. I've had, you know, ghosts or aliens, um, spirits trip me. I've actually watched kids trip me. Um, it's kind of funny to, well, I wouldn't say funny to see, but it's interesting to see.
Well, I'll tell you what, because this is going to bring me into okay. The whole grab thing. Now, granted, I didn't see anybody. I didn't get to see anybody grab me, but I have been grabbed by I don't know what it was. I mean, if you want to say a ghost, if you want to say a spirit, or I don't know, but it has happened to me, and it's something that is. I think it's the worst thing, one of the worst experiences you can have, because it's really hard. Like when you see something or hear something, it's easy. It seems like it's easier to describe that to another person, But when you're grabbed, it's only something. It's so personal. It's hard to explain what just happened,
Yes.
and there's a different sense to touch than there is to sight and sound. But I'll tell you what. let's get to these. We got to give a shout out to our sponsor and, cut to the commercial break. But when we come back, I'm going to tell you my 2 personal stories, guys, about what happened to me. Stay tuned. Hang around. We'll be back and send more of your questions.
Have you ever wondered, or maybe just thought to yourself, if there were others just like you? You know, people with extraordinary abilities, psychogenic advancement, and perhaps unique intuitions. Maybe you just wondered if there were other people who experienced unimaginable, unexplained, or even unusual and paranormal events. Are there people who have more questions, more fears than answers? Well, you're not alone. You've never been alone. We believe you. Sign up for EA today.
Business. It's your property. Your assets are worth protecting. Blacklight Investigative and Surveillance Services specializes in patrolling and inspecting residential or commercial property against fire, theft, vandalism, terrorism, and illegal activity. People and buildings are monitored to prevent crime. Keep your property, your people, and your assets safe from threat. Our elite staff are dual licensed private investigators and security guards. Blacklight Investigative and Surveillance Services. Go to blacklightiss.com.
Do you think I'm frozen?
I actually did.
Gotcha. Hey, I tell you what, guys, welcome back to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. If you're just now tuning in, we have tonight's guest, our tech man, the tech guru, Mr. Chris, and we've got a fantastic group over here in the comment section. We got Liv, Light, Lisa, and we've got Phil, a first-time viewer. So, Phil, thank you. I hope you guys hanging around. Send your questions. We're going to keep this bad boy going.
Lisa did say something pretty good.
Oh,
I was told by my friend who is a ufologist. Yeah, I'll put it on the screen.
I was told by my friend who is a ufologist, he told me that if it happens again, for me to take a Q-tip and take a swab of it and send it to him. Wow, a sample if it happens again. Yeah. I mean, like we've had people on here that's actually, what woke up and, the next day and then, or a few days later found something, a foreign object in the back of their neck. It's a tendency to happen at night, which is like, and that's usually when most of us do go to sleep and our consciousness are in another realm of some sort. I mean, have you ever really thought about it? It's crazy. Dude, it's like you get knocked the hell out every night and you don't remember anything, and then you wake up the next day and just ready to go. That's how crazy sleep is. It's like, what the hell is you know what I'm saying? So I mean, literally, it's just one of the craziest things. Your brain, like, all right, we're gonna shut down and go somewhere else for hopefully 6 to 8 hours. But yeah. I mean, totally. If it happens again, try to follow it up as much as you can. What I was saying, before the break is, what happened to me wasn't during sleep or anything at night. This was a few years ago, and I was out on a jog. I was out jogging, and I was on my cool down walk. After I was done and I was cooling off, and I was out on this trail by the lake. Which, a lot of paranormal activity happens close to water for some reason. And it was a real beautiful spot. And then out of nowhere, something just grabbed me and yanked me right off the trail. Now, the first thing I did was I thought like someone on a bike or another runner had ran into me. So I immediately, looked around, was like, what the hell just happened? But there was not a soul. No one was around. Nothing. Nobody. And it literally it felt like someone grabbed me by my waist and yanked me off the trail. That's exactly, if you could picture what that would feel like, someone to grab you by the waist and jerk you out of the way, that's exactly what it felt like. It freaked me out so bad. I called my wife. I was like, come pick me up right now. I'm done. Come get me. I have to tell you when you pick me up. And I tried to make sense of it. I tried to find some type of rational excuse for what happened, and I could not. I just can't. So I don't know. But so anytime anything has ever touched you, grabbed you, that's an experience that I don't wish on anybody because it's so violating. It's just you don't like it. But yeah. Luckily though, mine didn't happen in sleep. But at the same time, I don't want to be grabbed again. You know what? Liv's got a question here. She says, yikes, what do you think it was, Danny? Something trying to protect you? I don't know, because when something happens, especially that we can't explain, our brains, we always rush to try to make sense of it, which is natural, is what we all do that as humans. To me, I thought this even, I have no clue what it could be, but I will say this. The area where I was at, unfortunately, it's a place where a lot of people have went to commit suicide. I think lakes and stuff where people sometimes, if you're really depressed, they feel like they can find some peace there. There's been a lot of people that have just driven their cars there in the lake and drowned. So, I mean, who knows? Was it an angry spirit? Was it a spirit maybe trying to protect me from something? I don't know to this day. I have no clue. Maybe, I don't know. And when we talk about spirits, this is where I talk about maybe everything could be all connected to a sense of when we talk about spirits, are we actually talking about maybe some type of physical, spiritual being in another dimension, another, interdimensional being? I don't know, but I do know what happened, and I can't explain it. You know what's funny? And here, last summer, me and my good friend had started going back to that lake. Okay, and but I didn't run down that area. I stayed down the opposite side. I haven't been brave enough to go back down where that happened. I have not been back where that happened. I have not, no, but I've drove by it a lot. I've driven by it a lot. Um, but last summer I was really close, but I kind of stayed on the other end of the trail. Um, but I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I should get back down there and check it. There's times I thought about maybe going there and doing an investigation if possible. So, but that was a real crazy experience. And you know what, man? I think I want to share one more with you guys if you guys like to hear it. I don't want to, bore you guys, but like I said, I've went back and forth over my life on at one time I was like I said, my background in entertainment, a little secret about most magicians is most magicians don't believe in the paranormal and or believe in psychics or a lot of stuff that matter, mainly because Houdini was a big skeptic, and a lot of magicians follow in the pattern of Houdini's thought process to where everything can be explained because I know how to fake it. I know how to pretend like I'm reading your mind, Chris. I know how to pretend to do these things. I know how to fool you. But that doesn't by any means mean that this is not real. You know,
Right.
these things are not real. Um, but over the years, at one time I was a hardcore skeptic. I was a hardcore atheist. I was a hardcore a lot of these things just because of my background. And even though, and I want to say this, my first paranormal experience was as a child. And
Oh,
yeah, it was I was 12 years old. And even though this happened, I had blocked this in the back of my mind for many years because I couldn't explain it and it annoyed me. So a lot of times the things that you can't explain, do annoy you, like, a lot of times people hate what they don't understand. That happens in everything. Uh so but anyways, when I was 12 years old, I actually saw a ghost, if that's what it was. A lot of people, go their whole lives and they never actually see a spirit but I was 12 years old and I actually saw this happen. And I've only told this on I believe I told this on one other podcast, a story, but I'll definitely tell it tonight. um but anyways, I was 12 years old, and I had a friend staying over with me. And I remember we were setting up later than usual, and we heard a sound outside of my front yard. So I remember looking out the window and seeing something out by the gate, the fence of my front yard. And I remember running out of that room into our kitchen, and there was a side door that led outside from our kitchen. And I opened the door to see what was going on and stuck my head out. And that's when I saw it coming up the sidewalk, coming right up to me. And as this is where it sounds crazy too, guys, because if I was making this up, FYI, if I was lying, I would come up with a better story than this, by the way. But there was a man. He had his hands up like this. He had a white V-neck t-shirt on, green pants, barefooted, had a neck, no face, no head. Now, Grant, it wasn't chopped off, like he was been decapitated. No, but it just wasn't there. The head just was not there. So there was a neck, t-shirt, arms up, legs, barefooted. And now here's the other interesting thing too, guys, is that he wasn't walking towards me. He was gliding towards me. Okay. Now, I remember seeing this, thinking, I didn't know what was going on because, especially as a child, your whole life, you're told ghosts don't exist. It was all make believe. I grew up watching Scooby Doo. It was always some, old man, Myers underneath the mask. You know what I mean? So there was always, something. So I'm like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Well, here's the other thing is I know people say that animals can sense spirits and stuff, and I really believe they probably can, but I don't know what was going on with my dog that night because I looked down and my dog was on the front porch and he was cool with it. He didn't even acknowledge. And I thought, what is going on? So I remember standing there watching this thing come towards me, and then it turned, almost mechanical like, turned and started going down the other side. I had another sidewalk that ran down along the side of my house. So when that happened, I was able to shut the door and I ran into the other room and I got my buddy and I got his attention. I said, "Hey man, there's something outside. You got to look at this." So he comes over to the window and looks out the window. And that's when we see it again, just gliding down in front of the house. And we had these two big hedges on the side of because we had another porch, a side porch, and we had these two big hedges, these bushes, and we watched it go right into this bush and vanish. It was gone. So we go out on that porch, that big side porch where it vanished where we saw it vanish in the bush. And we're kids, we're 12-year-old kids. So we're, curiosity is like, what's going on? And so we pick up these rocks and we just start throwing rocks in the bush. And we're throwing these rocks in the bush. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this bush starts to shake violently. Shh. And once again, guys, if I was making a story up, I would come up with a better ending than this. Okay? But this is what happened. A cat shoots straight out of that bush. Runs out of the bush. Me and my buddy, we scream bloody murder. Oh, scared the hell out of us, run back inside. And then the next day, we went to bed, woke up the next day, and never spoke of it ever again to each other.
Wow. Liv Light does have a question, though.
Okay, sorry. Here, let's get to Liv's question here. No head, a floating headless form. Did it have density, mass to it? Yes, it did. The interesting thing about it, Liv, is I'll never forget it did, though, have a glow to it, and almost like the stereotypical ghost glow that we would see in movies, it had that. It had almost a glow to it, and it was coming, like I said, but I'll never forget, it was a white male who had his hands up like this. It was a white V-neck t-shirt, green pants, barefooted, just no head. There was no head. And to this day, I remember, just eventually trying to, I even thought, well, Danny, you hallucinated this. You made this up in your head. And then, would always come back to the thought, well, wait a minute. I wasn't the only one that saw it. Someone, so there was another set of eyes, my buddy, who saw it too. So I don't know. But over the years, I blocked it away, put it away, didn't think about it, and didn't like to think about it because I couldn't explain it. I didn't know what it was. And then, you just kind of time to face the music. And I have to accept, maybe it was a ghost, maybe it was a reoccurring residual type haunt, maybe it was something reoccurring. I don't know. Something very interesting about my neighborhood that I grew up in, though, is there was a graveyard on my street, a very old graveyard on my street. And, because back in the day here in Tennessee and in this area of my town where I live in, it was common where people would have graves on their property, and bury their family members on their own property. So throughout the town, as people have moved away and grown off, some of those graveyards still exist, throughout the town. So, and in my neighborhood, there was a little graveyard, a tiny little graveyard. And who knows if that's where it came? I don't know. But that's my two ghost stories. That is
nice.
Liv says you need to draw that or create an AI image of it. Oh wow. Uh, what's weird is there's times like I don't know, man. I've thought about it, and it's I've wanted to, trust me. I've really wanted to do that. Did you ever research? I didn't. I did. I wish I would have now because unfortunately, that old house that we lived in is no longer there. It's that now the area is still there. The spot's still there, but they've actually took that house down and they built a new one.
Linda's here.
Oh, is she? All right. Well, here, let's see. We've got her for the last 25 minutes, so that's going to be cool.
We'll see what we can do.
We'll see what we can do. But Liv, definitely, we need to check that out. But hey, all right, we've got Lynn. Now, make sure I say your last name right. Is it Meris?
Meris.
Meris. Yeah. All right,
yeah.
We got Linda here.
Oh my God, I couldn't get a verification. I had to come in through Facebook. Google wouldn't let me in. I'm so sorry. I was, looking for a video early.
That is okay. Welcome, Linda. We are so glad you are here. We at least can get you for the last 25 minutes here of the show.
Good.
So, but I tell you what. Now, one thing right off the bat, I got to tell you that really sparked my interest about your bio. That it seems like you're a medium, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a mental medium.
A mental
psychometrist and a psychometrist.
Okay, and a psychometrist. Well, one thing that sparked my interest because I am by trade, I am a comedian / magician. So, and one thing in your bio is I hear you have made a contact with the comedian. This is something I want to
know. I got a recent one. Richard Lewis recently.
Richard Lewis, absolutely. Late great Richard Lewis. I love Richard. Who is the other?
Look into. Do you have the book? Do you have anything?
No, I do not. I do not have the book. So you do have a book too, huh?
Oh, I have a book. It's all about it in the book. There it is. Oh my goodness.
Okay. All right. The hypocrisy versus mysticism and morality. All right, cool. Well, we'll get the book back up here, while we do have you. But I tell you what, let's do this, Linda, because me and Chris have been rambling on here, and I've been sharing some of my crazy stories. But I tell you what, if you don't mind for the viewers, okay, because they like to ask questions too, so you may get a few questions from them tonight. But do me a favor, Linda. Can you introduce yourself? Let them know a little more about you.
I'm Linda Meris. I'm a psychometrist. I've done comedy. In fact, I will be in another comedy group towards the end of next month. And that will be interesting. It'll be sketch. It will be stand-up. It will be all this stuff. I mean, so it should be really fascinating to watch. And when I say mental medium, I channel people. But for the last 37 years, it was quiet because I didn't know who I could have believe me. It was very, very hard to get people to relate to what I did. And for me to open up now, it's a big deal. I mean, I've stories from my childhood. And in fact, I had a recent encounter. Listen to this one. This is funny. I was at the post office recently, within a year ago. That's recent for me right now. And standing facing to the side in front of my postal mailbox, okay? And I don't know why she's standing there because she's not waiting online for the clerk, the postal clerk or anything. She's just a woman standing there in front of my mailbox, standing to the side of my mailbox. So I open my mailbox, I get my mail, I close it, and she looks at me. She says, "You left something in your mailbox." So I open the mailbox, and on the top, there's a metal piece. There was a card stuck, and it was an important document. I almost walked away not getting because I couldn't see it. But she just left after I picked it up, and she just walked away. Who the hell was this woman?
Interesting. Wow.
I mean, these are the things that happened to me. And with the Richard Lewis channeling, I felt and heard. It was like rustling, circular, wild energy. And I knew somebody was here because I hadn't channeled anyone since the other comedian. I'm saying that funny. And he wanted to say something. So I did a video. I don't know if you saw it. And it was him talking. Well, he more or less is saying goodbye to people and appreciating people as friends and everything. Uh, so I don't have the video right in front of me, of course, but it was very, very interesting that I got somebody else to channel. And I didn't know that was going to happen.
So sometimes it just happens unexpectedly. You don't even realize when it's going to happen. Just
Nope. And especially that male, that was really wild. And it's like these are things that happened to me. I saw a spirit once, long, long time ago. It's in the book. I saw a vision who appeared to be Freddie Prince.
okay. Yes,
At a
Freddie
yeah,
Prince was a comedian who
actor. Yeah.
unfortunately died. A comedian slash actor who unfortunately died very young. But so you feel like Freddie Prince, you may have contacted you.
Well, I was in a comedy club. I'll tell you the situation. And the bar was packed. The show was going on. People were sitting at the bar stools. And all of a sudden, everybody in the bar left and walked out the door. But the show was going on. So I'm looking around. I said, wait a minute, the show's still going on. Why are people walking out of the bar? Why everyone? And then I look to my right and I see people on the bar stools turn around simultaneously towards the bartender. So here I am alone in the bar. I look to my left and an apparition that looked like Freddie Prince appeared in front of me. Now, this was a week or so after he passed. So I'm thinking maybe I'm cuckoo. Maybe I'm thinking about him. I'm in a comedy club. He passed, but I didn't know the guy or anything. So he walks over. He's all ethereal. He walks over to his picture on the wall, points to it, and said it was him. And he kept looking at me, smiling at me. And I kept looking at him. And then I said, look it to myself, you're going home. You're getting out of here. Something's going on. But I don't know if this, at that time, I thought it was all psychologically induced. So I'm walking out the door and I turn around and look. He's still watching me. And so I go to sleep at night, of course. Like before I wake up the next morning, I hear in my ear, put on the Pigeon Song. It's called Pigeon Song by America. Remember the group America?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
The second side, the last song on the second side was Pigeon Song. And it was like telling the story of his life. And I said, that's it. I'm a believer, but who's going to believe me?
Now, and this happened. I mean, this must have been like quite a long time ago because Freddie Prinze
Yes.
Sr.'s been gone quite a
That's
while.
right. That's right.
And so, did you keep this kind of bottled up? You didn't share this with anybody?
Hardly a soul. This book that I finally got out of all these paranormal experiences leading to that apparition from my psychometry shows, also there before and after, and leading to the channeling of this provocative comedian who unveils his past life tumult and afterlife wisdom. And it's very, very spiritually significant. And I suggest people read my book, Hypocrisy versus Mysticism, Wisdom and Morality. It's on Amazon. And you'll see all what I'm talking about.
Well, I tell you what.
Everything I'm talking about.
Well, I tell you what. Can you are you able to share some more stories maybe from the book with us tonight while
Yes,
we got you on here? Because
sure.
like I said,
Yes,
unfortunately, we don't have you for the full show. We just have you here on the tail end of it. So, but yeah, we would love to hear some more stories. So, you got any more stories you'd like to share with us?
sure. Okay, I'm looking right now. Yeah, there was one story. I was with this guy from high school. We were hiking in a wooded area near his home on Long Island. And it was just a friendly, regular friendship kind of thing. And all of a sudden, he starts looking at me differently, as if he were going to be sexually aggressive. And all of a sudden, he started walking towards me. He stops in his tracks. He looks past me, backs up, and completely got frightened and startled. And I look behind me. I don't see anything. At that point, I didn't see any vision of anyone, but I feel he saw somebody. He saw something. He saw something. Definitely saw something. Because he turned white as a ghost, as if he saw a ghost. And he walked out of the woods. He got startled and left. And that was like incredible. And I have a number of things. I mean, I have my, let's see. Oh, well, the beach scene seems to be the big deal. I was swimming on a float. Well, I was on a float at a beach in my hometown, and I jumped into the water, and all these guys surrounded me, started pulling on my bathing suit, dunking me, and to the point where I just gave up and I was letting myself sink into the water, thinking that that was the end for me. I looked up, I said, "Is this it for me?" And I heard this loud, thunderous voice say, "No." And all of a sudden, I felt my body go up out of the water. And I was not doing this or willing this. And I felt somebody or something was swimming my arms back to the shore. And I'm like in the back seat of a car watching this driver, but I'm not willing it. And I'm just watching my arms move and my
Oh
body
wow.
move, swimming back to the shore. It's like,
So it's like you were being. I mean, something was. I mean, saving you maybe, or yeah. Wow. Well, let's do this real quick. We got a question here for you already. A great
sure.
question from one of our viewers here every week, Live Light. She asked, "Not sure if you want me to say the provocative comedian's name, but my question is, has his daughter ever reached out to you, or have you ever reached out to her?"
Oh, sure. She knows about the book. And yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So and I mean, well, is she? I mean, you said she's reached out to you, or she knows about it. Is anything? I mean, anything that she didn't know, maybe that you may have let her know, or relay any messages, or without giving too much away.
Well, there's a whole situation that happened that created this channeling, and that's in the book, but I can give you a brief. I saved the memorabilia of this comedian from going in the garbage.
Okay. Okay,
And then
that's
I started channeling, and that's where the book came about. It was mostly him. That's why I tell people to check out the book.
Oh, a great question by Mr. Doug McCon. Yes, Doug. Doug's got a great question because you did mention about you do comedy as well.
Hmm.
Doug wants to know, have you ever had a spirit assist you on stage?
Very interesting. Huh. I don't remember anyone specifically telling me anything, but when I was doing the psychometry in a humorous fashion at comedy clubs and whatnot, I was feeling just a lot of energy and words coming to me about people. I didn't have anyone specifically say, "Hi, it's so and so. I'm here with you on stage." Not yet. I
So,
should say,
so
I've got to say, not yet.
Gotcha. Not yet. Okay, well, this is wait a minute. So, do you do this like a show? Is this? Do you blend your comedy with this?
I can. I have years ago. I have. I haven't done it recently, but I might add it with our group. I'll bring it up to them.
That's definitely interesting. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
Maybe yeah. So so you said your comedy group. It's almost like it's like an improv group you do, but it's a comedy. What do you mean when you say your comedy group?
Well, it's new, so we haven't gotten together yet. We're getting together towards the end of April. So we'll be doing sketches. Somebody might be doing stand up, improvise,
Absolutely.
you know.
Well, I
So
definitely think,
I'll,
I think that's a great idea. And if you do pick up something coming from the other side, I mean, I hope to God, comedy is a big part of my life, and I hope I can still tell my jokes when I pass. So, I think that's great. We got another question from Live Light. Uh, was the book written via automatic writing? If
yes,
so, how did the process develop, such as dreams, visions prior, or just sit down and let it rip or let it happen?
I read about other people doing automatic writing, Ruth Montgomery and one among others. And so I decided to try it. And this was when the memorabilia was out of my apartment. And I sat down and just relaxed and I started hearing words. And it did not sound like me. Everyone who's read my book said, Linda, this is not you. It's not your wording from
So
your
you
story,
think
all that.
this, you may have some ghostwriters, literally. So I think that's cool. So it's just kind of guide your hand and took you where you were. Now let me ask you this, because this is always interesting me when I have guests on here, because a lot of things that I do hear reoccurring is one thing. This podcast, Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, it is a place where people can come and share, no matter how crazy their stories sound. Um, and, I always tell people, I am a comedian, but I'm not here to make fun of anybody. I have a very open mind. I believe in, in this world as well. I know a lot of people, though, are afraid to come out and open with it. When did you start saying, you know what? I don't give a damn. I'm going to tell people my experiences. When were you not afraid anymore to share your stories?
I had a friend who read my manuscript, the unedited, wilder version of my manuscript. And she said, this is spiritually significant. You should definitely do something with this. And I said, well, it's been over 37 years and it's been in storage. She said, it doesn't matter. Do something. And then I felt bad that it was just sitting there in storage and I didn't really get it out there. So I decided, okay, I'm going to get this into a book. So my spirit will rest in peace for this other spirit. And I hope I did that. And I hope many people will read the book.
Well, definitely. I mean, you definitely got my interest. Um, the just with two stories alone, right there. Something,
Oh,
something. Well, let me ask you this: were you a bad swimmer?
no, I wasn't a good one, but I wasn't a bad one.
So,
No,
I mean, so now, have you ever encountered anything that you would consider maybe a evil spirit? Something. I mean, maybe
no,
out to harm you, or
no,
so,
no.
so everything that you've experienced has always had a positive.
Right. I feel like my guardian angels were there. I wasn't meant to go away.
Okay, gotcha,
It
gotcha.
wasn't going to happen. I'm meant to do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm still meant to do it. My
Absolutely.
days are still going on.
Sounds it. Now, this book that you talk about, once again, I tell you what, let's get this book back up here real quick. I want to get it back up here so they can see the cover. Hypocrisy versus mysticism, wisdom, and morality. Now, how long has the book been out, Linda?
Since the middle of August.
Okay, so last summer, there we go. And So working on a year before we know it, but not quite a year yet. That's
No,
good.
it's still recent.
And now, how long did it take you to get this written, or
A year. A
a
year.
year? So
Yes,
is this
because it needed a lot of editing.
gotcha?
This spirit was very wordy, and he kept saying one word so much for the process. We had to like say, "Hey, how many times you're going to say semantics?" The word semantics, I kind of knew what it meant, but I had to look it up. It's semantics, semantics.
So okay, and this was your first book, correct?
Yes,
So okay, and I'm assuming, is this something you've always wanted to do, or is it something that you built the courage up? You know what? Screw it, I'm going to get this and do this now.
I'm going to do it because I wasn't going to wait any longer. I wouldn't have done it. Another decade or so, forget it.
Gotcha, gotcha. And the book would have been a lot thicker too, with all the experiences that you're dealing with.
Well, I try to go back to early experiences. Like me, my mom was into this. She liked to go on the Ouija board to see when I was getting married, and the that piece that's on the Ouija board would just go sliding off. It wouldn't go anywhere. I lived with someone for 26 years, but I didn't get married. He passed away 2015. No, I haven't. I've heard a little from him at times, but nothing much to write home about.
Okay, okay.
It seems
That's
like the people that I would expect to hear from, I didn't or
okay.
haven't. I should say haven't.
Which that's kind of interesting. So it's kind of like the people that you expect, you don't, but then there's those surprises there.
Yes.
Um, well, I tell you what, Linda, we're running close here on time here on the podcast. Like I said, I know we didn't get to get you on here for the full episode due to technical difficulties, but we
And
definitely would
how?
love to get you back on. That way we could have a little longer conversation with you. So maybe if we could get you rescheduled to get back on. But my tip before we get off here, where can our viewers learn more about you? Where can they get the book? And just in any of the places you might be, or maybe to see some of your comedy.
Okay, well, Maris the Sea, a Sea of Hope. You can just look on Facebook. I have a group, Maris the Sea, a Sea of Hope. And you can get my book on Amazon or Book Baby Bookshop. But excuse me, Amazon, they can definitely get on. Hypocrisy versus Mysticism. You say you're going to show the book, right?
Show the book one more time there. Put it up here one more
Excuse
time.
me. Mm-hmm.
There we go. There's the book, folks. Available on Amazon right now. Check it out, and you can find out what controversial comic she is talking about. It's full of her experiences, her stories. Definitely check it out, guys. It sounds like it's got some really good stuff in it. I can't wait to check it out because I want to know about this comic. Definitely. And I'll tell you what, real quick before we get you out of here, Linda, do you guys got any shows coming up with your comedy group? Anything you planning on?
We didn't get together yet. We're getting together towards the end of April. So that I will.
All right. Well, I'm sure will you be sharing that on your Facebook page?
Oh, sure. I share everything.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, Linda, thank you so much for popping in here. We got you in here
Ah.
just in the nick of time. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad to have at least made it some time. Some of the time.
You got it. Thank you so much, Linda. We'd love to have you back on.
All right. See you later.
All right, guys. This has been a crazy wild ride tonight. But hey, a big shout out to Liv and Lisa and our new guy, Phil and Doug. Doug's my boy, y'all. Doug is my guy. I love to see familiar faces pop up here in the chat. Me and Doug at Ryan Stacy UFO Paranormal Investigator. Be sure to go to Patreon/Heed the World right here at the ticker. Go there for $4 a month. You can get some really cool stuff. For $12 a month, you can get some even cooler stuff. Okay. It will help aid the podcast. It will help Ryan's investigations. And it's only $4 a month, man. It doesn't cost anything. Be sure to get over to the experiencersupport.org. Check out Don Peterson's article and check out Ryan's article on Facebook. And next week's guest, we've got Tom Maddie. Okay. And I can't wait to talk to him. I can't wait to talk to Tom. And if you guys have not done so, be sure to head over to Instagram and give your boy, Danny Whitson, at Super Magic Boy, a follow on Instagram, at Super Magic Boy. Give me a follow. I post where I'm going to be. I post my shows. And like always, Paranormal Junkies, keep the paranormal normal. And I will see y'all next week. All right, that does it for this episode of Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. A big shout out for tonight's awesome guest, and a bigger shout out for everyone who tuned in. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever it is you listen to your podcasts. And like always, be sure to stay curious, heed the world, and keep the paranormal normal. I'm your host, Danny Whitson, and this has been Beyond the Tinfoil Hat.